Innovation is the mother of all invention. That statement has never been so true, particularly now, with millions of businesses looking to re-engage their consumers and jumpstart their bottom line. At Launchcode in Calgary, they begin every day by asking their clients one simple question: what's your mission? And then they develop a game plan for them to maximize their fullest potential. Jason Swanson is the company's director of sales, and he joined me this week to provide some insight on the process and how millions of Canadian businesses can stay afloat and use innovation to their advantage. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. 44% of Canadian households report that they've lost income or seen layoffs due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to an Angus Reid survey released back in March, which also indicated an additional 18% of Canadian households believe their work loss will continue after the pandemic is over. And according to Swanson, that's a familiar refrain for millions of Canadians.
Well, first of all, I can say that I can relate. One of our product lines is an advanced ID scanning for bar nightclubs. So pretty much immediately overnight, we lost like 90% of our recurring revenue. So I can relate to some of the challenges that everybody's been facing. The other side of our business is obviously on the Launchcode side, which is more around innovation. So that has been actually picked up. So we've had to work really hard on that side. Alberta, in general, has been gut punched twice. COVID and oil prices, so both of them put together contributed to the highest unemployment rate. I looked it up, it's at 15.5 right now. So our downtown is pretty decimated. There's a lot of empty buildings and, for a lot of different reasons. So again, we're not used to it. We've been propping up the Canadian economy for many years, sending lots of money eastward to support our fellow Canadians. And so we're a little bit, I would say, reeling that kind of comes along with it. To answer your question, I kind of get some preamble there, but to answer your question, what's the key to restoring the consumer confidence in our economy? I would say mindset first, innovation second. So, we've gone through those stages of grief or the change that kind of comes on and you get to an acceptance, but then you can start experimenting with the kind of new world you're working in. And the one article that I really kind of leveraged was this one from Unstoppable Me. John Morrow, he talks about the 7 life lessons of a guy who can't feel anything but his face. We've heard the cliche about turning lemons into lemonade, but to do that, you can't be mad at the lemons. You can't go in denial about the existence of lemons. You can't get depressed because you're tired of making lemonade, that you have to grab the lemon and squeeze it. Or better yet, you can kind of look at a different analogy, and it kind of uses a art of the counterpunch. So every beginner knows that the importance of the counterpunch. By attacking you, your opponent must let his guard down, and it creates a brief but a real opportunity for you to sneak in a blow. So you got to look for that opening. So, the best time to attack your opponent turns out to be right after he attacked you. So this can relate specifically to COVID for us. So the punch is COVID. The counter punch has been, for us, the video chat world. So it's really opened up a lot of avenues that we were not thinking too much about because of the fact that we can now do our business through video, which means I can start closing business in Toronto, Florida, all over North America, where maybe we had that self-limiting belief that we had to do all our business only in Calgary. So, disruption has always been a catalyst towards innovation. In the midst of chaos lies opportunity, and that's kind of how we see it.
And can you also tell me, I know in your position as Director of Sales for Launchcode, you deal with a lot of small businesses and trying to help them realize their mission in life and in business. So I'm wondering if you could give me just some insight on how the process works at Launchcode and the importance of innovation with your clients.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're correct. It's funny that you said it that way because our tagline is actually, what is your mission? It's a big question, we know. It comes with risks, challenges, tough decisions. It's call to action, though. So you kind of set your sights beyond today and then towards the future, chart your course. There's a lot of questions facing businesses right now, and there's only one way to propel it forward, in our opinion, that's through innovation or Launchcode in a lot of our lexicons. So limit spending is always got to be the first one to protect the business. The fastest way to increase your profit or save your profit is to reduce your expenses. That's kind of a no-brainer. But after that, you got to take some of this additional time to work on your business instead of in your business. I think we're all really guilty of being deep in our business and just getting through our day-to-day, but we don't probably spend as much as we should on the business. So, when you look at those kind of situations, there's opportunities unfolding all over the place that comes along with change. So you need to be able to see those. So, and then the next thing is to kind of take action. So since I can't do X, so I can't do this, I can't do that, what can I do? And again, back to the art of the counterpunch. So I might not be able to get face-to-face with clients, but what I can do is use the technology to get me in front of them with a video chat. Can I take this a moment to look at the disruptive technologies that are in different industries and bring it over? What is my industry missing? What can I learn and use to enhance my customer's experience? That's what I would look for.
And when we look at sort of restarting as a small business owner, I'm wondering if you can provide some perspective on what we can learn from the pandemic to make businesses run more effectively.
Well, the one statement I've said probably over and over and over nauseum is kind of that we understand people don't compare you to your competitors anymore. They compare you to the best experience they've ever had. So the focus must always be on your customers. You take time to understand their behaviors better. Where is that friction? Where is the friction they're dealing with? Where is their attention? And how can we provide more value? Being against innovation is like a caveman being against fire, as I've said, and I've seen written other places. So, and I guess the other thing that we would say is that don't be reliant on one platform. So, for bringing clients in, you're going to take LinkedIn, cold outreach, networking, Twitter. Have all those avenues. And then kind of lastly, I'd say video has exploded because of the mandatory adoption. So this is something that I think that we were always going towards. It was going to make more sense. It's going to really humanize that experience. But we're seeing it now where it's that mandatory adoption, so people have actually given it a real chance, and they're seeing the benefits to it. Obviously, being able to not have to go face-to-face, maybe fly to a client and then do a sales pitch, you now are able to do all this over a Skype call or a Zoom call and get that thing done. So it opens up your avenue and opens up a whole new vast array of potential clients.
Now, my last question for you has to do with what pieces of positive advice would you give to people looking to for some positive reinforcement as they reopen their businesses? Because here in Windsor, we have an unemployment rate of 8.3%, which is one of the highest in the country. So I'm wondering if you could just provide three basic pieces of good advice that can help any small business sort of recover.
I think the one thing that I always want to start with the advice is, start with gratitude. Being happy that we live in a time that we have the internet, that we have the ability to have this kind of technology that helps us afford this freedom. So being grateful that, you think back to 50 years ago or something, like none of this would have been possible, being able to actually accelerate your business during a difficult time. Another one is maybe there was a good to slow down a little bit. Again, maybe that focus on working on the business instead of in it. Some looking at some ideas around real-time connection through the technology, which maybe that wasn't happening as much before. So, we're seeing it as we took an opportunity, even in our business, that we had our Friday afternoon get together, and we actually had to do personalized presentations. And when we did it internally with our team, like I got to learn so much more about my coworkers. That took us to a whole other level from as far as connection goes. So I think those are some positive takeaways from it.
Fantastic, Jason. Well, I wanted to take a few minutes to thank you for appearing on this show. We enjoyed your insight and perspective, and thanks for your time this afternoon.
Hey, thanks so much, Kevin, and really I appreciate what you're trying to do. Having that positive message. I'd love to be able to support that, and keep up the good work. Okay.
Fantastic. Thanks for the kind words, and have a great weekend. Okay.
You bet.